3D Mario games don't come often, but they are some of the best 3D platformers out there. Arguments for the best of the bunch vary, but the one I gravitate the most to is the debate between Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. These two are my favorite pair of platformers. Their settings and visuals are amazing, but what really pushes them to be peak game design is her. I'm just kidding, that was Sandy invading the script. With both games being so closely tied together, it was inevitable for fans to start screaming at each other about which game is better. This happens with just about any type of sequel that exists. I woke up today and wanted violence, so I will be taking part in this debate. To choose an ultimate winner, I will be analyzing and judging key parts of each game. Both Galaxy titles do things better than the other, so let's go ahead and see which game prevails. Mario stories are nothing to write home about. You got a princess gets kidnapped, bada bing, bada boom, you got a premise. This is the formula each game follows, but the Galaxy games do a really good job with it. Let's go ahead and start with Galaxy 1 story. Every 100 years, a comet appears in the skies above the Mushroom Kingdom. The comet was so large one year, it filled the skies. Oh, what the hell am I doing? I'm not reading a bedtime story. It's big boy hours. As you can see, Super Mario Galaxy starts with a storybook sequence and leads into a Mario 64-esque letter from Princess Peach. Mario goes to Peach's castle, but Bowser unsurprisingly comes in to ruin the day. Airships are everywhere, meteors are crashing, and is that a fucking UFO? Okay, so that's new. The castle is lifted off the ground and Kamek blasts Mario quite literally into a new galaxy. So, what do we do now that we're in a new world that we've never seen before? Play hide and seek! What else are we gonna do in this situation? After playing around for a bit, you find Rosalina. She tells you that you need to travel to space, and she even gives you a little baby Luma to hang around with. Get through some planets, grab a Grand Star, and now you are at the Comet Observatory. This is how Super Mario Galaxy starts, and man is it a great first impression. The intro feels like the start to a massive journey, and it keeps that energy going until the very end. The climax takes Mario to the center of the universe, an amazing setting for the final stage of the story. Mario defeats Bowser in his galaxy reactor, but a supernova occurs, creating a massive black hole. All the Lumas from the Comet Observatory, including our sweet little prince, fly into the black hole in order to save everyone. It explodes, and the universe is reborn. Mario wakes up with everyone in front of Peach's castle, looks up into the sky, and sees entirely new worlds. Finally, the game ends with the line,
Welcome, new galaxy!
Despite the simple premise, Super Mario Galaxy goes above and beyond in making itself stand out. It's an epic journey, and it's not afraid to take Mario to new heights. It even goes out of the way to offer extra lore to players, which I don't believe any other Mario game does. Rosalina's storybook is introduced after entering the library. It's unexpected and tells the story of how Rosalina became Space Mommy. This story contains 9 chapters, and it's surprisingly emotional. I won't go into too much detail about it because it is definitely worth looking into. So instead, let's see how Galaxy 2's story fares against its predecessor. Starting very similarly to Galaxy 1, you begin the game with a Star Festival storybook sequence and a letter from Princess Peach. However, in this case, you are playing inside the storybook. It's a 2D section and the pages turn when you get to the end of each sequence. While heading to Peach's castle, you find the baby Luma from the first game absolutely hammered on the floor. You wake him up, and then he starts speaking PlayStation for some reason. After talking about shapes, Mario keeps heading to Peach's castle, but once again, Bowser's there to swipe Peach. There's no UFO this time, Bowser just comes, grabs Peach, and poofs into another reality. Some Lumas explain the situation, one turns into a launch star, and then you head to your tutorial galaxy, which is absolutely fantastic, but we'll save that for a different section. Fast forward past Sky Station Galaxy, Mario lands on a weird planet and meets Lubba. You meet Lubba. Lubba strikes a deal with Mario so they can help each other out, and turns the planet, which is actually a spaceship, into Starship Mario. That's the premise of the game, and then it's smooth sail to the center of the universe again. Mario beats Bowser, there's a nice trip back home, and Rosalina finally shows up to take your precious baby away. That's the story for Galaxy 2, and it is completely disconnected from the first game. It is a sequel in concept alone, not story. Rosalina doesn't even show up until the very end, but even then it mostly feels like it's just there for fan service. Galaxy 2 definitely took a step back in the story department, which is sad to me. The narrative is never the focus in Mario games, but it would be false to say that it's not a nice addition. Galaxy 1 easily takes the cake with its narrative. Galaxy 1 and 2 are some of the most visually impressive games I've ever played. They really showed how beautiful Wii games can look. Though Wii may have been a Wii console, but these games are gorgeous. Galaxy 1 looks even better now due to the 3D All-Stars collection, but we're not counting that version. That would be cheating. There's no shortage of amazing scenes in these games, so it's gonna be a close battle for this one. Let's get our magnifying glasses and analyze similar environments and see which one is visually superior. Okay. Well, shit. They're exactly the same. Well, moving on, let's talk gameplay. In general, the core gameplay mechanics are shared between both games. Movement is the same, gravity mechanics aren't different, and they even share some of the same power-ups. There is so much that goes into the gameplay that I can't dig too deep into each element. With that being said, the power-ups that enhance the gameplay, although similar, do have some differences, and they are the easiest to compare. So let's see what each game has. Galaxy 1 has 7 power-ups: Boom Mushroom, Bee Mushroom, Spring Mushroom, Ice Flower, Fire Flower, Red Star, and the Rainbow Star. All these power-ups are self-explanatory, but I want to focus on 2 in specific, the Ice Flower and the Red Star. The Ice Flower is one of the best powers of all time, especially for movement. Rather than a blue and red suit, this little guy turns Mario into solid ice. On foot, it's nothing special, but it is a game changer on water and lava. While on either surface, Mario skates around and turns the ground into snowflake-looking platforms. Momentum doesn't stop and skating around feels really smooth. It's highlighted the most in Freestone Galaxy, where missions like these make you feel like you're in Disney on Ice. Look at that form! The Ice Flower may not come up super often, but it definitely is a highlight in Galaxy's gameplay. Unfortunately, we also have an ability that doesn't really highlight Galaxy's gameplay, the Red Star. Obtaining the Red Star gives Mario a black and red suit, as well as the ability to fly like Superman. Well, not exactly like Superman, more like a really slow and hard to control airplane. Seriously, with how smooth the movement in this game is, the control of this power feels so different and alien from the rest of it. It's a little better in 3D All-Stars, but it's still not great. It's like they didn't know how to make him fly well with low gravity mechanics. The Red Star also only appears in the Gateway Galaxy and Comet Observatory, which makes it a pretty useless item. It's interesting that Galaxy included one of the best controlling power-ups as well as one of the worst. The Ice Flower is my favorite power-up in Galaxy, but it did not return in Galaxy 2. The Red Star actually didn't return either. In exchange, Galaxy 2 added the Cloud Flower, Rock Mushroom, and Spin Drill. Yoshi is also added alongside 3 fruits that each give him a different ability. Since we talked about the Ice Flower and Red Star, I want to focus on 2 more that I find really unique, the Cloud Flower and Rock Mushroom. The Cloud Flower gives you a long-awaited power-up. Mario can finally make his own platforms. Why wasn't this in previous games? Mario is the king of platforming. It's crazy that this idea wasn't implemented sooner. You're a little bit more floaty when you're Cloud Mario, but the Cloud Flower itself doesn't really do anything special for movement or combat. However, you do get to create 3 cloud platforms that you can use. This allows for super creative uses. You can get to unintended areas, find hidden stars, and even skip certain sections. It's a simple power-up, sure, but damn is it an excellent one. Keeping up with its consistency, Galaxy 2 gives us the Rock Mushroom. It gives Mario the power to turn into a bowling ball and completely eviscerates everything in his path. It's so fun to just roll into a ball and go around galaxies. You can break crystals, fight bosses, and even ram through enemies that look suspiciously like the bowling pins in that one GIF I'm not allowed to show. Look it up at your own discretion. There is never a dull moment when the Rock Mushroom is shown. Now that we're done with Cloud and Rock Mushroom, I have a question. Does Mario eat or absorb the power-ups? If he absorbs them, then how? Does he just grab them and they melt into his body? And if he eats them, how does he eat a rock mushroom? Are they sentient? They have eyes. Are his teeth strong enough to, like, do they crumble every time you eat them? Hello? Why is no one asking? I only talked about 4 power-ups across the series, but it would have really taken forever to cover them all. In the end, my favorite power-up may have been removed in Galaxy 2, but it was replaced by some of the most fun mechanics in any Mario game. It would be easy to give the point to Galaxy for laying the gameplay foundation, but I do think Galaxy 2 deserves the win for evolving it. And now we're on to music. God, this section is the one I go back and forth on the most. These games have some of the best pieces I have heard in any game. They're just so lovely and well composed. I'm gonna gush about 3 of my favorites from each game and then pick the winner, just because talking about all of the songs would kind of take forever. This is the section that I'm the most passionate about, so I'm going to try not to be too technical with my wording, and I'm going to try to make sure that this section is easy to understand for everyone. Just a warning though, I am a huge music nerd, and I am so sorry if I come across as annoying. Starting off with Galaxy 1, you can never go wrong with the Comet Observatory. This waltz is one of the first songs that you hear, and it is amazing. It progresses to create 3 different versions over the course of the game. The first one's instrumentation makes the piece feel airy and floaty, perfect to signify space. Comet Observatory 2 adds string instruments to give it a more full tone, showing the progression of Mario becoming more comfortable in space. Finally, the last rendition of the Comet Observatory adds horn instruments, giving the piece a full orchestra. It reaches a point of confidence. Mario is no longer cautious of his new venture, he's explored most of the galaxies, and he's finally confident to continue into more. Now we're moving on to vacation territory. Beach Bowl Galaxy has my favorite beach song of all time. I think that the best part of this piece is the tone that it gives off, which is thanks to the instrumentation of it. The percussion used in the piece is typical of what people associate with the beach. There are no hard drums going on. You can hear sand shakers, handbell shakers, bongos, and other light percussion instruments. All of these are associated with waters and beaches. A light electric guitar is at the beginning, bouncy brass instruments always accompany the songs, and woodwinds take control of the melody. It all combines into a joy of a song. The last piece from Galaxy 1 that I'm going to talk about is Gusty Garden. I believe that this is the most iconic piece in the series, even over Galaxy 2. So many people know it, and that's for good reason. You have a powerful start with brass instruments, an acoustic guitar which provides a nice transition to the melody, then a soft melody when woodwinds kick in, which increasingly becomes more powerful as instruments are added. When it gets to its peak, it softens again and a trumpet solo kicks in. What happens after the trumpet solo? It quickly picks back up into a powerful melody to end the song. This piece perfectly encompasses the feel of a journey. There's no dull section from beginning to end. Not talking about Gusty Garden would have been a complete insult to the soundtrack. Now going into Galaxy 2, let's look at another early game song, Fluffy Bluff / Cloudy Court Galaxy. This song first appears in World 1 and it is compositionally similar to Gusty Garden. Strong start with brass, soft transition, built-up melody, soft solo, flute this time instead of trumpet, and a strong climax. It hits all the same beats as Gusty Garden, making it sort of a tribute. This, along with Gusty Garden, give me emotional sensations in my chest when I listen to them, especially near the end. This song feels like another lovely journey through space, and I'm really happy it was one of the final songs in World 1. Next up, we are quite literally headed into the woodwork, Puzzle Plank Galaxy. This is such a fun and bouncy piece. There are so many moving parts. Its lack of instruments and the stage's sound design are actually strengths in the composition. There are instruments in the song, but it is accompanied by melodies and harmonies done by what I can only describe as bouncy space sounds. These sounds and the instruments play off of each other, creating a really strong dynamic. Even with the few instruments that it uses, the focus on strings really helps with the barnyard feel that it's going for. Overall, it's just a really fun song that I always go back to when listening to the soundtrack. A weird pick for the last one I'm talking about, but one of my favorites, is Melty Monster Galaxy. Powerful doesn't even begin to describe this song. A full orchestra is present and the brass instruments are ready to blow everyone's eardrums out. Low brass starts the song, giving it an ominous feel. Electric sounds come in and give it a repetitive melody, while also serving as a transition. As it builds up, trumpets take it over and string instruments provide a new melody. The build-up keeps going, increasing its power. Finally, it peaks with the entire orchestra playing at the same time with brass leading. Melty Monster Galaxy is like 90% lava. Every instrument choice and the way the song is composed is made to feel that way, especially with the emphasis on the low voices. Melty Monster is my favorite lava theme song in any Mario game, so that is why I wanted to end my TED Talk with it. When you compare Galaxy 1 and 2 soundtracks, you find so many connections between the pieces, leitmotifs, instrumentation, and composition style. It almost makes me want to give another tie. Almost. In the end, I am gonna have to give the gold star to Galaxy 1. This is for 2 main reasons. First, because it was the start. All the connections these soundtracks have started because of the first game, especially the leitmotifs. However, my second reason is because of how iconic the track list is. Galaxy 2 has superb music, don't get me wrong. I spent a while talking about the 3 songs and I still don't feel like I've given the soundtrack justice. Yoshi Star, Throwback Galaxy, and Bowser's Galaxy Generator, these are all pieces that I find amazing. But there is no denying that more people talk about the first game's soundtrack. I didn't even get to talk about Star Festival, Space Junk, or Boy Base. This is the biggest reason why I think Galaxy 1 should take a point for music. Well, this is it. It's time for the final battle. I think a good start to compare is the beginning of the game, the tutorial galaxies. Galaxy 2 uses Sky Station's first star as its tutorial instead of a no-name galaxy like in the first game. As a tutorial, Galaxy 2 easily takes the cake, but I do think that would be a little unfair to leave it at that, so let's use Good Egg Galaxy as a comparison instead. From a design standpoint, Good Egg and Sky Station are very much alike. The areas have similar themes, and the bosses are basically the same. The only difference is that in Sky Station, Mario might get charged for abusing an even smaller child. Despite the similar themes and first boss, they still offer enough variety to be different. Good Egg has an extra boss and a lot smaller planets, while Sky Station only has one boss and a few larger planets. It still has some small ones in there, but most of them are bigger. Both Good Egg and Sky Station serve as excellent first impressions, so it is hard to decide on a set winner. We gotta look at more galaxies to see which one has the better selection, and these games are huge. The first game has 42 galaxies to explore and the second has 49. It's inevitable that I'm going to miss some galaxies that people want me to talk about, so I apologize ahead of time. For the sake of mentioning more than just Good Egg and Sky Station, I'm going to list my favorites in each game. I can't go in depth about all of them, but I do want to talk about them, so it is rapid fire time. In Galaxy 1, Sweet Sweet Galaxy looks delicious, Space Junk has one of my favorite gimmicks, and a really cool atmosphere. You're playing around a Death Star made out of rocks in Battle Rock, Beach Bowl is my favorite water stage of all time, Ghost Rocks go brrr in Ghostly Galaxy, Boy Base makes me want to go. Gusty Garden is a classic, Toy Time makes me feel like a child, and Freeze Flame makes me feel like a princess. For Galaxy 2, High Tail Falls looks cool and makes Yoshi feel like Sonic, Tall Trunk has Big Yoshi and Mario 64 slides, Fluffy Bluff and Cloudy Court have some of the best feeling platforming in the series. I'm a sucker for themes where you're tiny, so Supermassive Galaxy gets a point. Piantas are finally back in Starshine Beach. Shiverburn has these guys stalking you. Melty Monster has great music, platforming, and power-up usage. And finally, Throwback Galaxy injects nostalgia into my veins. And those are my favorite galaxies in each game. Looking at both, they really have such iconic levels. What could really put one over the edge? Alright, let's compare the last galaxies in both games, starting with Grandmaster Galaxy. I have a love-hate relationship with Grandmaster. It is amazing. However, I did not have a 100% save file ready on my Wii U, only on my Wii. And I can't get footage on my Wii, only my Wii U. So, I had to 100% Galaxy 2 again because I forgot that you needed to 100% it to get Grandmaster Galaxy, and it took me so freaking long to get it. That is partially the reason why this video took so long to come out. However, this is not a video about me beating Galaxy 2, this is a video about comparing the two games, so I need to put that anger aside. Looking at Grandmaster Galaxy objectively, you can see that this is peak final level design. Everything you've learned throughout the game is finally put to the test here. You start off with the Yoshi segment where you avoid flying Goombas, bullet bills, and these weird green ball things. After that, you have to turn on blue switches while avoiding laser shooting robots. Then you have to use your Cloud Mario skills to get over a laser obstacle course. But that's only halfway because the next section has the shrieking green platforms along with the red and blue flipping ones, followed by a pulsar obstacle course, and finally you end with an enemy rush against a bunch of hammer and boomerang bros. This is a satisfying conclusion after a long 240 star journey. With how good it was, let's look at its competition, Grand Finale Galaxy. Is that it? We have to play through 120 starts as Mario, then do the whole thing again as Luigi, and this is our reward? Purple coins in the opening area? I get that both games have super iconic levels, but there is no denying that this is a poor excuse for a final Galaxy. It's super close, but Galaxy 2 is gonna have to take the edge in level design. And that's it for each category, so let's go ahead and tally up the scores to see the winner. Sandy, cue a drum roll. It's a tie? That can't be right, can it? All this time, I replayed Galaxy 1, I had to 100% Galaxy 2 again, which sent me back 8 hours. I took 20 pages of notes. What in the fuck was all of that for? Okay, let's calm down. Let's see what we can do. Galaxy 1 has the best overworld, 2 has better bosses. Damn it, that still makes it a tie. I don't think I can choose a definitive winner. Galaxy 2 is my favorite 3D platformer of all time, but even then, there are some days that I'd prefer Galaxy 1 over it. There's just so much going on for each game that I could keep going for another 30 minutes. So, if they were gonna tie, why make this video in the first place? Well, the argument for which game is better is exhausting sometimes. It's fun to engage, but some people really take it too seriously. Both games are amazing platformers. Each game is crafted with so much love that you can't really be upset when playing through each galaxy. Except for you. You sucked. I don't think there really is a right answer to which game is better, but I do think each game does something better than the other. That was my main purpose in this video. It's inevitable to prefer one, that's fine, just don't take it too seriously. Galaxy 1 and 2 may be disconnected in story, but they are very much extensions of each other. So instead of trying to pick each game apart, take your love for the games and share it with each other. It makes for a much better conversation than a screaming match about which game is better.
Tell YouTuber Galaxy 1 is still better.
Oh, you mother... Hey everyone, Itachi here. This was my retrospect on Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2. I was originally going to make them into separate videos, but I thought it would be more creative to change the narrative a bit. It was a rough journey, I'm not gonna lie, but it was well worth it. I'm really happy with this. This was really fun to make, and I can't thank Sandy and Silva enough for their help. Thank you all for your support. You guys are all amazing. I love you, and I will see you all in the next one.